Welcome back to the Afternoon Express Kitchen. I hope that you're having a fantastic Tuesday afternoon. Now, we're continuing on our journey of learning the versatility of eggs in cooking, and we're finishing it off with the Yorkshire pudding and steak recipe. Now, South Africa, if you are as excited as I am for this recipe, head over to our Afternoon Express website, afternoonexpress.co.za. Let's find out what Dumi has for us.
Yes, so we went to Soufflé. Where are soufflés from again?
France, baby.
You heard it from Afternoon Express first. We went to France, right? And then we decided we're not full. We want something else. So now we've taken it to England. We're having some Yorkshires.
We're taking it to England.
Very good.
So we're going to make some Yorkshire pudding. So you're going to make a delicious salad to go along with our dish.
But it looked very Italian to me. We're going to zhuzh up those English...
Hey, people
Pass
will
up,
eat
pass
what
up,
we feed them.
pass up.
This is South Africa. Yes. Yes. So yes, we're going to make a nice tasty salad to go along with our Yorkshires. And Jenny's going to be making our steaks.
Yes.
The way we like them. So.
Of course. So you can tell me how you like them. Would you like them well done? You're allowed to have them medium and you're not allowed to have them dead.
Well, why don't you ask South Africa how they like theirs done?
I know what's going to be said. Because if it was my husband, he would say, just cut off the horns and lift its tail.
I love that. Okay, so I'm just going to put my order in straight away. I love my medium rare.
You're my child.
Another one for me, Jen.
Yeah, boy.
I guess we're all going medium rare then.
That's the way to do it.
It's the only way.
I'm loving it.
Cool. So while you get cooking with our steaks, and you've already started with the salads, you and I are making the Yorkshire pudding specifically. And the one trick that people have to remember with Yorkshire puddings is that when you get the batter into the pan must already be hot. So we've already preheated that already, but now you're going to start oiling it for us. And so all you need to do is just brush it up with some oil and then just add a bit of oil into it, and then it goes into the oven. And then I'm going to get the base of our Yorkshire pudding started over here.
But Tooms, explain to the people, Yorkshire pudding is not sweet. It's not a pudding. Because for the way I see a pudding, I want to add custard over it and I want to eat it with a spoon.
And that's why I like how people of the world make food and they call it fancy names. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to have pudding. It's not pudding.
But you know, the English would do like a steak and kidney pudding.
Yeah.
You know, so that is a word that is very, very...
But you know, la Mzansi, in Africa du Sud, c'est topaya. C'est topaya, steak and kidney pie, or of course something like this. It's something more savory. So it's so interesting that it doesn't matter where you go in the world, we all say things differently, we call things differently, but it all is the same deliciousness and that same taste. But what I love about this is that we're still incorporating that same Clover Bliss. It hasn't left us. It's been walking with us from the beginning of the show. Can you see the versatility that we're incorporating in your kitchens?
Exactly. So what I've done now is I've added some flour into my bowl and then a little bit of salt. So this is the dry ingredients of our... Okay. I caught it.
You caught it.
I caught it.
Yeah.
It didn't touch the flour. So we've got our dry ingredients here, which is the flour and the salt, and then our wet ingredients that are going into it. So it basically is like a pancake, but a savory pancake of sorts. It's just the technique in which it gets cooked and not necessarily the...
Yeah, and it goes all puffy. And then you serve it with meat, and then you pour the gravy
in the
over
center,
it.
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely delicious.
Yes.
And so the important part with the Yorkshire is to make sure that you get rid of all the lumps. You do not want any lumps into it.
Okay.
So I'm going to make sure, like elbow grease, earlier on it was you.
The most important thing is meat should always be at room temperature.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise you're not going to get a medium rare or lift, you know, cut off his horns and that kind of texture out of your meat. The important thing is I've just salted mine now. Some people put it on before, some after. I like to salt my meat just as it's going into the pan, which I've done. And the important thing is, although we're going to flavor our oil, I'm not going to put too much oil in the pan because I don't want it to stew. So I've just put a little bit of oil onto my meat. And I'm going to put the tiniest bit because it's also got a lovely natural layer of fat. Do you want me to take the mafuta off or you're going to eat it?
I'm going to eat it.
Love it.
No.
Dumi, do you also like the fats, just like me?
I love the fat, girl.
It's a flavour.
Piece of steak with a nice piece of fat.
The
on
only
top.
lean meat I'm okay with is with a chicken breast or mince.
Yes.
But the rest, give me my fat.
If you were to wipe off one ingredient off the face of the planet, what would it be?
It would be misfirms, you know, the worms that you find, because people eat them. They put prawns in them, they taste like poo. It doesn't matter what you do with them, they do not taste nice, so they don't feature for me. You find them on the dung heaps with the cows, and I've eaten them and I don't like it.
It's a no-no.
That's a no. Tell me.
That's basically what I'm waiting for, Bale. Your pan is supposed to be getting into the oven and heating up.
Girl, it's...
Girl, you're letting us down here. Exactly, that's how hot it must be
the pan needs to be, and the oven needs to be not 180, not 200, full whack.
Yes, so we're trying to get it as hot as possible.
Yeah.
So your oven must be on the highest setting as possible. Obviously, you don't want to burn the ingredients what you're putting in there, but we just want it to be nice and hot so that the oil in there is going to heat up. So basically, the moment we drop our Yorkshire pudding into the pan, the cooking starts.
Yeah.
Basically, because it's going to puff up into a little pillow of
Goodness.
amazing... Oh,
Yeah,
girl.
and a little pillow, an empty pillow that awaits beautiful gravy to go onto it.
And I mean, you have traveled the world. I mean, we were talking right now about the different kinds of dishes. And what's the one dish that you've tried that you went overseas that had an egg that you actually have enjoyed? I know there are many.
Yeah. It was in China. It was in Shanghai, and on the streets they make these big pancakes, and then they put actually chives and spring onion in, and they fold it over, and you have it as a breakfast.
Oh, wow.
And it was absolutely delicious, quick, easy. Okay, did you tell the people I'm making a salad for Pali?
Yes.
You did.
Yeah.
This is all your favorite ingredients. Olives, tomato, feta, and I'm just going to drizzle a bit of balsamic over it, and a bit of olive oil.
Anele, whilst you're doing that, indeed, I did say that she's got some of my favorite ingredients to incorporate in a salad, but the meat also is one of my favorites. I mean, tanda inyama, South Africa, and it's looking mighty good over this side, huh, girl?
Hello, baby. It's almost done. Look at that fat, how nice and crisp it is.
Okay.
It's delicious. Butter in the pan, so we are flavouring the meat with that. Look at that, beautiful colour. I'm going to literally give it just a couple of seconds.
Wow.
Very important to have a hot pan.
Perfect. And that is essentially to get the perfect medium rare flavour.
Absolutely. And
Stunning.
the
I
most
see you also got
important
some rosemary in there.
well, this is a bit of time, but your rosemary would know, but rosemary would be absolutely perfect. And so what we want to do here is I'm going to save all of this and just pop that onto the meat because it makes a gorgeous garnish.
Wow.
And we're going to make a lovely buttery bliss
Sauce on the side.
sauce on the side.
I'm kind of liking the sound of that. But the most important thing here is that we are making no ingredients go to waste, because I believe that with what's left over in your pan, you're going to be creating a beautiful, decadent, creamy sauce using our Clover Bliss.
I certainly am. I'm going to deglaze the little bit. I just popped another little bit of oil in it. I'm going to switch off now, and I'm going. Look at that.
Wow.
Isn't that beautiful?
Wow.
I'm going to just pop that through there, and we're going to. Should I put? I think I'll put it on the side. Hey, the sauce, and then you can just sort of add it yourself.
Oh, wow. So you can have the option of enjoying it with the meat or without the meat.
Yes,
Beautiful.
or
But
on
I'm
the
going to have
side.
all the sauce in the meat. Loving the fact that you're just putting huge dollops of that sauce in there. Is there any type of ratio one must look after?
No, your mouth will just tell you.
That's basically why I became a hot kitchen chef and not a pastry chef.
Yes.
Because of the whole
Science.
Measure. I don't measure. I just want to hoy.
And now you need to gooi that dough in there for the Yorkshire pudding.
So let's do that. I've got a ladle over here, and the aim is also not to fill it up. And also when you make a Yorkshire, you must make sure the mixture sits for at least 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you go in. So
Don't see
Is there a reason for that,
any
Demi?
lumps.
For letting it sit for 20 minutes?
because you want to make sure that there aren't any lumps, because I've been whisking it this entire time. So we just want to make sure that it sits and it allows for that curd, the pancake flavor to be nice and
And
fluffy.
also the batter, you know, all those little bubbles that come to the surface gives you a nice big rise per size.
You see, for me, South Africa, this is what the value of these cookalongs are. It's about more than just creating food in the kitchen and having fun with our family members. It's about educating each other. There are a lot of terminology and jargon that we use in the kitchen every day that sometimes you might not be able to identify or understand, because I know if you tell me to wait 20 minutes, I'm going to make those 20 minutes 10 minutes because I'm hungry and I'm just going to put it in. But if I understand, Jenny, if I understand why we're doing it,
That's exactly
I will abide by the recipe.
Yes.
And it relaxes the gluten as well in the flour, which will give you a much lighter texture when it comes out.
Tutswa, how long do you bake that now?
So we're going to bake this for 20 minutes, but we do want to just keep an eye on it, because all that's going to happen, it's basically going to, it's as if it's a quick, watching a flower bloom.
I know, it's
It's just
beautiful.
going to bubble up and become like a little cloud of, guys. So we're going to let this cook while we just prepare for the next step.
Because I believe that we've still got so much more cooking coming up. But before we get into that, let's give South Africa a quick recap as to what went into this delicious treat to England, of course, making a Yorkshire pudding. And we whipped up some steaks as well. Dumza?
Yes, so I had over here some flour, salt, which I whisked together, and then I had some of my milk and some eggs, whisked those together, added that into the dry ingredients, made sure there are no lumps, and then just left it to chill while you were oiling the pan for us. And then Anal over here,
I made a salad, this beautiful salad for Palesa, because I think we're going to tuck into the steaks and the sauce and the rest.
And talking about steaks and sauces and rest, you gave such key tips as to, first of all, how to prepare the meat, how to fry the meat, and then how to accompany it with a most delicious sauce. So do you want to give us a quick recap?
I want to give you a recap. All I did was just oil the meat slightly, gave it some salt and pepper, got the pan nice and hot. But the most important thing, like we said, was room temperature. But the most important thing now is not to cut it before the time. It needs to rest.
And to make sure that that sauce was absolutely right, Jenny added some delicious Clover Bliss. And if you want to get the recipe and the ingredients list for cooking up this magic in the kitchen, just head over to our website and you could be making this along at your home. But we've got some more deliciousness coming up as we make a beautiful pavlova. All of that coming up.
With the creamy decadence of double cream bliss from Clover, yogurt has never been so irresistible. Made with love by Clover.